hope this doesn't look super intimidating to do. It's actually really easy and relaxing to do, I find. We're making like a koi fish pond for Asian American Pacific Islander Month. Koi fish are found in East Asia, right? A very significant East Asian culture. I'm gonna set my sample aside here, somewhere that I can like look at it. So first, we're gonna be using a pencil. I normally don't start with a pencil, but I do think it's important this time around. So I'm just gonna draw like a big blob in the middle of my page, because my page that I'm working on is a little bit bigger than like the regular 8.5 by 11. But if you're working on 8.5 by 11, then you can just fill up the whole page. That's fine. So I got my blob um, to, or if you're working on 8.5 by 11, you can sort of like cut off the corners. So draw something like that on each corner. But yeah, my page is really big, so I have my blob here. And what I'm going to start doing is place my rocks. So I have some rocks over here on my right. So sort of like a gumdrop shape with a curved bottom. One in the front, and it's kind of lumpy. Rocks are lumpy. Although these rocks are in water, so they're smoother than most other rocks. And then again, on the left side here, we're gonna do another like rough gumdrop shape, lumpy thing there. And then we're gonna have like a smaller one come out from the edge right there. So those are our rocks. And now we're going to draw our lily pads in a shape that we call an ellipse, which is basically just an oval. You can draw as many or as little as you like, but you know, there's some ovals pretty much. I think actually, you know what I think? I think they should get like bigger the closer to the bottom of the page they are, and more circular. And more narrow and ovular, elliptical, the further to the top of the page they are. Let's see. I want to draw another one right there, and I want to draw one right there. Those are the lily pads I got going on. They're kind of cute. We're gonna draw four koi fish. So first one, and they're all gonna be at the bottom here. So we can zoom in a little bit. So first one, I'm gonna draw a curved line like that. A an arch, and then another curved line meeting at the end of the first curved line we drew. The second koi fish, I'm going to start with an arch and then carry this line like in a swoop. So it's almost like a big teardrop, like that. The third koi fish, I'm starting again with an arch here, a slight curve line. That's our third teardrop. And then our fourth and final koi fish. So our final teardrop shape. But we also want to draw the fins. So again, for this koi fish, we're going to start at the top here. And sort of, I don't even really know what to call that shape, to be honest with you. For the back fins, I'm going to draw a line out and then draw like a deep V, almost meeting like the end of the fish's body. Like that. And then they have like a fin there, and then there's a fin here. And those are those fins. This fish, we're looking at like the top. So I'm gonna draw like a smaller fish basically in the middle of it. Like that, and then its fins are going to be, because we're viewing this fish from the top, so it's gonna be more of a sharper shape. I'm gonna add another fin right there. And then following the curve of the fish's body, I'll draw that back fin there. This fish, same thing. Um, draw that like spinal fin. Whoa. I hope you guys don't hear my neighbors. Oh my goodness. Uh, yeah, we got that fin, and there's like a little lump here towards the end of the tail. Um, Another lump there towards the front, and then we're gonna do like another one in the middle. I'm not exactly sure what the anatomy of fish is, I'm not gonna lie. And this fish here at the top, we're gonna draw that spinal fin. Right, and then for me, this back fin here, this tail fin. That's what it's called? Is it called a tail fin? Oh my gosh. It's probably called a tail fin. Oh my goodness. This tail fin is obscured by my lily pad. But yours may not be. So, you know. And then we'll draw like another little bottom fin there. All right, so we're done with the pencil. But no more pencil. Literally. Or yeah, no more pencil. We're done with the pencil. Uh if you're done drawing, like this is all you need to draw basically. Um, I'm so serious. That's it. We're moving on to our paint pens here. I love these so much because you can layer them so beautifully. So in the original illustration, I started with dark gray as my base, but I feel like it's really dark, so I want to uh try one of these blues. But in general, we're going to be using like greens, browns, and blues, and some yellow for the water. So I'm just going to pre-partition those markers out. For the koi fish, they're white, and red, and orange. So, but we'll do those last. We'll get to those when we get to those. Let me just make sure. This is a very like earthy color palette right here. Um, and I think between these two blues, I'm going to use the one that looks more green. They both look the same color on camera, but one of them has more green in them, which is this one. So that's the one I'm using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the background. I'm going to outline my rectangle there. And then I'm going to outline everything that is on the water. I like to do this because then once you have everything outlined, you can sort of, what do you call it? You can sort of just like fill everything in. I don't want to say carelessly, but with less caution. You really don't want to be like taking up so much time with this though. This like just getting the water effect is going to be the longest part of the process. So if you can tell, I'm using the blunt end of my marker here. There's also a brush tip on the other end, which I might use for this fish. Let's see if I can get away with not using it though. Huh, that's good enough. Then we'll surround our lily pads. What I'm doing is a very easy technique of just working from the background to foreground. Um, in this case, and in any case, or in most cases, I don't know, maybe there are some other cases, but in most cases, the background is what is further away from the view. So because our lily pads are on top of the water and our rocks are on top of the water, we want to render the water first because it's underneath all that. When we have everything outlined, can sort of just scribble in the rest of the water blue very quickly. Technically, the koi fish are underneath the rocks and the lily pads, but as a stylistic choice and also as a limitation of the medium, I'm going to be rendering them last because they're like the star of the show. And I don't want to obscure their shapes and colors under the water. I love these markers so much. They're so affordable. Um, it's like $10 for a set of 24. And I think they work super well. And I love how quickly they cover a large space. I've mentioned so many times that I'm pretty much a veteran like color pencil user. And one of my biggest issues with using color pencil is that a pencil only like covers such small space with each stroke. Like it's not ideal for a large area, surface area, but it's really good for detail work. And so I have all these pieces that are super detailed at like every level, but they just took like so many hours to complete. And I always thought that like art took so long. But I didn't realize that it was just because I was using a slow medium. I rotated the paper there to get a more comfortable angle for my wrist. And I'm about to do the same thing again in the opposite direction. You always want to do what's most comfortable for you when you're making art. You don't need to put your your hand or your fingers or your wrists in any uncomfortable position just to get something on the paper. It's not necessary. The paper doesn't have to stay where it's at. You can always rotate it, spin it around. Oh my gosh, excuse me. All right, we got this little bit left to color in. My marker is like starting to dry out a little bit. But they usually like replenish once you put the cap on for a minute. So we got our thing, our water. I'm going to use the gray marker for our shadows, our deeper areas of the water, which is really going to be like around the fish, underneath these lily pads here, underneath these rocks, like, or maybe not. Maybe it'll be a lot up here and less around the fish because we can see them. Yeah, okay. So in my previous piece, I started with the dark gray and then I built my light colors on top of it, but already I'm liking the way the blue is coming through this dark gray here more. It's one of the reasons why I always like to do a sample because I can think about different ways to approach the same piece, which is always fun. I'm just going side to side with my marker. If you haven't noticed, I'm not really being super delicate because I want to give the effect that this water is like rippling. And so it's going to ripple from side to side. I definitely want like shadows underneath every object, but I want there to be more shadows up here. And so then I think that once we get like all of our general color in, I'm going to outline these objects up here. I just like threw away my cap. I'm gonna outline these objects up here with the brush tip to get like a really nice deep dark shadow. And so now that I'm outlining the lily pads, I'm going to start filling in like the little notch that happens on lily pads. I don't know what it's called, but like the little triangle that you always see on like the edge of lily pads, you know? Yeah, right. We're gonna go around these rocks here. I'm gonna buff out these um these edges with our brush tool. Okay, so we got that guy. I'm s I'm almost like flicking my marker to the side when I do that motion. I know I'm illustrating water, but I feel like I sound like I'm underwater right now. My head feels like it's underwater. Like I feel so. Ugh. Okay. I like the gray on top of the blue because I think that the blue still comes through the gray underneath. Underneath. It doesn't seem as dark or as dull as it was or as it could be. Okay. Right. And then we got these over here that we want to do. Maybe we won't add notches to these ones. Just see how it looks. We'll just make them their little like saucers or whatever. Right. And then going to definitely going to outline these here. And then yeah, gonna underline this fishy. I need to blow my nose. Give me a moment. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm back. The last shadows we want to add are going to be underneath our fish. So I'm going to do it on the underside of this guy here for sure. And do my little flicks. And then, okay. Okie dokie. Last guy is this one. This one here needs their shadow. So yeah, I'm doing my flicks again. And I think I just want to add some more flicks, like in general. Just so that we can sort of like be done with this gray and not really have to like come back to it. This is like a shallow pool. So more than it reflects anything above, you're gonna be able to see below kind of thing. So okay, no more gray. Let us color in our lily pads. I'm taking this dark green to do it. This end is a bit watery. Yeah. I'm gonna use the other end. That's more of a solid color there. I guess that would be my only real uh, gripe with these markers is that the output of pigment is not consistent in the way that I would like it to be. But we're moving right along. Just filling these guys in. Okay. The next step is gonna be, I think, to fill in the rocks that we got. All right, this is our last lily pad here. So for our rocks, I have this marker. It looks yellow, and I suppose it is, but it's a little bit like grayed out. So I'm going to use that as like the base color of the rock, and then we're going to layer, we're going to layer rocks on top. I mean, colors on top of the rocks. Oh my goodness. We're also going to use some of this color in the water if we get to it. I feel like this piece is really very easy to get lost in, for sure. So I'm going to take my dark brown and I'm going to just like fill in the right side there a little bit. Nothing too neat, nothing too crazy. And the same thing on the left side here. And sort of like follow the shape of rocks with the shadow. Then I'm gonna take my light brown and go over that around the edges. And sort of like mix the two together somewhat. Add some texture, do like a diagonal kind of thing there. In the on the rock. So that we have so that it has some visual interest to it. some scribbles here and there. And I think I do wanna I'm gonna switch to the brush end here, and I'm going to add some like some lines like around the water. Like very sparingly, I guess, and then I want to keep it concentrated in the the darker areas of the water as well. We're gonna leave the lighter areas for like some greens and yellows. Same thing with my dark brown here. I'm gonna add, maybe not. Maybe that's like a little too red. I'll leave it at that. But definitely, definitely want some green here, you know. This is the same green that I used for the lily pads, but I have multiple greens, so. Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna try to like cover up any of these little white spots that I have left in my page. And then definitely like here we have like the lighter green, you know. So I think I spent way more time adding different layers of color to the water in my sample, my practice sheet, because this is Zen for real. Like you just get lost and like really calm. I'm gonna have some of these come up, like creep up a little bit. Or in like the darker areas. Um, Not all the way up to the top though. And then I think we'll top it off with like some of this green. I would like to add some of that detail that I had to the lily pads, but I don't think we have time. So I'll leave it alone. Or I'll demonstrate one here. So what I do is I draw a diagonal line with my marker. And it seems like that green is like not good. So let's do this yellow. And then I'll cross it over. Almost like a pizza, you know? And you just wanna, and lines will be wiggly and stuff. And you can like add some yellow like to the edge here. With the lily pads with the notch in them, the first diagonal line should match them. I kind of like messed that up here. Or maybe I didn't. I don't know. I think with these like less detailed ones, we can just like do less of the lines. But yeah, this is actually very quick and easy, so it makes them pop out more amongst like all the dark, especially since we added like some of that same green into the water mix. Um, and I want to like have some water ripples around the rocks and the lily pads and things. And we'll do that in yellow. So these fish, like I mentioned, are orange and red. We're gonna start off with orange and then like top it off with red. So they're like blotchy. So we'll just like do a bunch of little stipples around the fish, going around its back fin there. Um, for that fish, this fish will. I mean, the patterns are almost random. Like some koi fish have more white than red, and vice versa. So, it's almost up to you, like how much or how little you want to add. Um, and this is really good in terms of like this fish, I'm gonna add like a lot on its body. But this is really good in terms of like the composition of the piece because if you know your color theory, you know that blue and orange are opposite colors and that also green and red are opposite colors. So we're doing a very like complementary color scheme here where our main subjects are like the color that stands out, which is really, really cool and good. You know? So yeah, we're done with the orange and we're gonna do like a little bit of red on top because orange is like a little too bright, all on its own. And because I don't have a red orange in my collection, I just have to use red and orange. But you can see the difference now between. So I do enough red dots so that the orange still shows. I don't completely cover it, but I do have red as well. And I'm like very rapidly dotting my fishies with my brush tip. And I almost think sometimes it's better doing it this way than like if I had a red orange, because I think it adds more visual interest and depth anyway, than if it were all just the same color. We're cutting it so close, but we're gonna get to the last step, which is outlining our fish. With my pen, wherever it's at. I don't know where it went. Oh my gosh. Uh-oh. It's not good. Where did my pen go? I don't know where my pen is at. Am I sitting on it? Nope. Ah, nah, yeah. I lost my pen. Oh wow. Did I put it in this? I may have. I don't see it though. I did put it in that. Okay. So for the fins, you just want to outline it. Like, I mean, you just want to outline everything basically. And like for the fins, you want to add lines like with the shape of the fin. But for the fish itself, right, you want to add like some scales. You don't want to go crazy. I mean, you could, but you'll be here for a long time. So I usually just like to add like 5 or 2 or 4, like that. Maybe we'll give him a smile. And rinse and repeat for the rest of the fish because I know we have to end soon. Right, like this top fin here. We'll do a line like that. I like my smiley fish. Make me happy. Oh yeah, with this tail fin here, I remembered the name. Same principle. You wanna like flick the pen. Like you wanna start heavy and then like flick it off the page. With the scales, I mean, it's sort of like a scallop pattern, you know? I'm gonna outline the rocks as well. So I think they kind of get lost in the background a little bit. I believe it is 5, but I'm gonna keep going until the call ends, I guess. So at the very least, you guys can see. It makes me laugh. I don't know. The smiling fishies. Fish don't smile. They don't have that capacity. So it's kind of fun to imagine that they do. Anyway, I believe the term is like skeuomorphism or something when you give a non-human object human characteristics. I might be incorrect though. But yeah. Well, we got all of our fishies outlined. With with eyes and everything. The only thing I can think of to like make them look like they're underwater is to like lightly use like a very light blue colored pencil over them. But honestly, I think they look fine like this. I think they look great. So that's the piece for real. When you finish, you sign your name. This is how I sign my name. Today's date is the 14th, 2024. And yeah, I hope you guys had a zen time drawing your koi fish pond.